Hello, Laoshi Laurince McElroy here in the pre-recorded video series. This is the second of a two-part series addressing some writings of Cheng Man-Ch'ing from Advanced Tai Chi Form Instruction with selected writings on meditation, the I Ching, medicine, and the arts, compiled and translated by Douglas Wile. A few days ago, we posted a video on the three kinds of fearlessness. This is eliminating the three faults. Now, as we enter into this, I want to point you to a certain singer-songwriter in contemporary society. His name is Frank Turner, and he has a song which I adore. I'm actually wearing a t-shirt that is, sort of about that particular song, Not Dead Yet. And no, that's not a Monty Python reference. It's a Frank Turner reference. He has a song called Get Better, and part of the lyrics include, we can all get better. We are not dead yet. So eliminating the three faults, however well we might be holding on to them, is always a possibility as long as we are still taking in air. Those three faults are, by the way, the first fault is the lack of perseverance, which we talked about some in the previous video. The second fault is greediness, and the third fault is haste. So I have some notes here that I'll be sharing. I'll be sharing some stuff from that. Now, you may remember from the last reading, from the last discussion on the three kinds of fearlessness, that persistence is very important. And I actually used a quote from this essay when talking about the last essay. And it was about how without persistence, you will leave a mountain full of treasures with empty hands. So persistence, the need to practice, is so important. And however that may work for you, right? For some people, it may have to be a formal schedule every day at this time for this long. I'm going to work on this. It may also include sort of mapping out all the different things upon which you should focus. A particular walking exercise, a particular posture, a particular principle. And actually breaking that down in a calendar. Perhaps it's making a list of those items of focus and just making sure that by the end of the week, you hit all the items on your checklist, and anything that you miss goes to the next week, or you could do that on a daily basis, however you want to do it. For others, it may be just finding snippets of practice whenever. More often than not, I hear from students who are, while their tea is steeping, while their coffee is brewing, they'll play a little bit, maybe even a little bit in the shower. I often share the story years ago, soon after I left Black Dragon School. I was working for what could have been considered a major Midwestern department store chain in their headquarters. And it involved, at the time, a lot of use of the elevator to go between the floors for the different departments. And I was probably very well known by loss prevention because knowing LP in that particular store, there were hidden cameras in the elevators. And if I was alone, I was practicing a little bit of Tai Chi while the doors were closed and I was going between the floors. So you find those moments of practice. I had a student one time tell me that she had a dawning realization about a particular aspect of the form that she was learning when she was working in the kitchen. And she needed something behind her, and she took a step behind her and spun around. And she's like, that's exactly what you've been trying to get me to do in class. So you never know when you're going to find those little snippets of practice. But practice, practice, practice. Not that long ago, we shared space with an Aikido dojo, Suffolk Aikikai, on Long Island. And from the outset, when I opened the studio on Long Island in '01, they had this training mantra that was on the wall. And after a time, students started to ask me, if I had a copy of it. So I have made a point of giving it to newer students soon after they join the studio program. And it is on this topic. If you are weak, train. If you are strong, train. If you feel old, train. If you feel young, train. If you are sad, train. And if you are happy, train. Train without thinking of a reason and lust after nothing. In the midst of life, train and let your spirit take what it needs from it. If you do this, harmony will not avoid you, and your aki will be strong. And aki means harmony meeting, when you can combine your energy with your opponent's energy in the art of Aikido. So it's actually very Tai Chi-like in its meaning. So there are no excuses. So something to keep in mind. You can also consider the idea of practice actually sort of leading to the next topic, which is the second fault is greediness. And that's people always want to add more to their practice. They always want that next thing, what's next? In this microwave society in which we find ourselves, everybody wants it and they want it now. So they want the next step, they want the next transition, they want the next posture. I'm known for doing a basic walking exercise class that will lead people to just one posture, wave hands like clouds, or cloud hands, or waving cloud hands, and all sorts of different names. However, what I say is, for some people, they learn one posture like wave hands like clouds, and they spend a lifetime just with the one posture, still exploring, still finding new things, and you can do that. You do not need new material. As you add more and more, that next posture, that next form, whatever, you become a jack of all trades, but you have no ownership, no real knowledge, no real understanding of all that you are doing. And if you are wanting more because you're bored, I'm sorry, get over it. I like this Zen saying, if something is boring after 2 minutes, try it for 4. If it is still boring, try it for 8, 16, 32, and so on. Eventually, one discovers that it is not boring, but very interesting. One of my favorite quotes is a Chinese martial arts quote. I do not fear the 10,000 kicks that you know. I fear the one kick that you have practiced 10,000 times. And what Cheng Man-Ch'ing wrote about greediness really sums it up. If one is too greedy, nothing can be thoroughly chewed. So it is truly the depth of your understanding and not the breadth of what it is that you know that is of importance. And the third sort of plays into that idea of not being greedy, and that's no haste. The third fault is haste. And as they say, and as Cheng Man-Ch'ing pointed out, as they say, haste makes waste. This is a complex art that looks simple when it's played correctly, but there's great depth to it, and you cannot learn it and its depth quickly. It takes time and patience. And I got another quote, as William Kwansha Chung Jr. once said, with time, patience is power. With time and patience, the mulberry leaf will become silk. There's a reason that patience is considered a virtue. And we also must keep in mind that as a Chinese martial art, since the word kung fu or gong fu is sort of a generic reference to the Chinese martial arts, Tai Chi is indeed kung fu, and the loose translation of kung fu is skill built up over time. It's not skill acquired quickly. It's not choreography acquired quickly. And it takes time to do that. And you must invest in your time. You must invest your time. The more you invest in your practice, the more you invest in what it is that you know now and spend time with it, the more you invest in this current time with where you are, the greater reward you will have. I know there is something else here that I wanted to say, but I'm not sure what it is. Oh, if you practice your form 1,000 times, your movement will be smooth and natural. If you practice your form 10,000 times, you will know the spirit and the essence of the form. It's an old Tai Chi saying. Keep in mind that a flash flood is just that. It's a flash flood. Yes, it can cause some damage. It can wipe out houses and carry away cars. But it's very much on the surface of the earth. A stream, a creek, a river flowing constantly on the surface of the earth doesn't just carry away what's on the surface. It gives us things like the Grand Canyon. So there you are. We're not dead yet, so we can get better. And it's very easy if we are focused, if we are dedicated to this art that we are playing, to eliminate the three faults: lack of persistence, greediness, and haste. As always, I appreciate your time and attention. If you have any observations or questions, share them in the comment section below. And we'll see you next time. I'm sure for something, this is a Monty Python reference, completely different.